Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome back to the space called the House of Jehudi. And today we're going to be talking about this universal principle called Sekhmet. So who is Sekhmet? Sekhmet in old, antique, ancient Africa, in Kemet, land of the black, Sekhmet was portrayed as this fierce lioness goddess, with the divine attributes as the daughter of Ra, as the eye of Ra, representing like the heat, the scorching heat of the sun, in the desert. She was the patronage whom was called upon during the times of wars. You understand? She was the one who led the soldiers on the battlefield, during the times of wars. She also embodies this healing principle that was used in ancient times, by the therapists, the healers, you understand, the physicians. She's the one actually who initiated, the father of Hotep, Lord Hapu, understand, in that healing school of thought, you understand. Himhotep, Amun-Hotep himself was initiated in the school of thought, of Sekhmet. Sekhmet Bastara. She is the only goddess portrayed with the scepter of papyrus, which was native at the north, or rather Upper Egypt, So none other goddess is portrayed with that stuff, with that scepter, except goddess Sekhmet. That stuff is usually portrayed or rather carried by gods, male gods, in old ancient iconographies. So Sekhmet was given the right or divine authority, by Ura as the daughter of Ra, the eye of Ra, understand, to hold that divine scepter of papyrus, as the god who embodies or rather who epitomizes all the goddesses, the all-in-one, on beyond time, space, realm. She's also known as Sekhmet, Sekhmet Bastara, with the attribute of the Nerbeja. Nerbeja is the realm that is beyond the realms of time and space. So Sekhmet is the daughter of Ra, like the closest daughter of Ra, who serves as Ra's rage, So when everything has reached the brim, when all that is evil, all that is immorality, when all that is unrighteousness have reached its own peak or maturity. So Sekhmet is this divine cosmic principle that puts all of that into determination. You understand? Yeah. So at one account, in ancient Kemite allegory, it is said that after Ra cited the evilness, the deviation of humankind, from the divine precepts of Ma'at, the righteous principles of the cosmos, you understand, that governs, one's life from birth to death. So after seeing that mankind was taking a different direction, he fashioned this priest or prophet, was supposed to redeem the world, with his flesh made out of gold, his bones made out of silver, with his hair made out of the precious gemstone of lapis lazuli. Then this priest went about all the ends of Kemet, trying to redeem mankind, but mankind just went all about with their vices, you understand, and their unscrupulous deeds. So Ra was so disappointed, you understand. He went back, he withdrew to his solar abode, his solar chamber, and he summoned the council of the gods and the goddesses known as the Baudi or the Ined, in Greek language. And then, to see to it, you understand, in order to find a resolution of the matter. So the Ined, you understand, that the council of the gods and the goddesses, the Baudi, resorted to agreeing that, hey, Rama's order his daughter Sekhmet, you understand, that to bring a retribution on the earth, you understand, in order to wipe away, all that is immoral. So Sekhmet didn't hesitate, she went all about, you understand, like massacring. He massacred like thousands, tons on top of tons, he massacred a whole load of pushing your humanity, you understand, and until Ura, her father, felt pity, you understand, and then Ra ordered some of his servants, you understand, within the council of gods and goddesses, to go to the southern part of Kemet to collect red orchards, and bring them for the priest, the high priest at Kemet. And the priest was ordered to fashion the Laoma ochres into liquid substances and add them into 7,000 jars of strong beers. And then Sekhmet was known as the lava of beer, so in Kemet. So those 7,000 jars of strong beer, they were supposed to be poured all over the world, with height of 3 palms. And then Sekhmet, because he massacred people until she got exhausted, and then she went to her father's abode to take a rest. So when she woke up to see this red liquid substance, spilled all over the field, and then she gulped to it because she loved beer and she was thirsty, after the rigorous mission of massacring, almost the entire earth. So she got drunk, she extremely got drunk, understand, and she decided to withdraw to her father's palace in order to sleep off the intoxication. And then that's how humankind was spared, actually, from the rage of Ra, but in the form of Sekhmet. This principle is not evil, as one might arbitrarily think. We would say maybe Sekhmet is this fierce anger coming from God. No, it's nothing like that. But we know that everything is about cycles. The universe itself is about cycles, having to revolve around different axes. We know that at one point there was a golden age, in Indian mythology is known as a sutra, from 11,500 BC to 6,700 BC. That's when now structures like megalithic structures like our Göbekli Tepe, which is located in what we know today as Turkey, what were erected, like even here in the southern parts of Africa, the Inzalo Ilanga, you understand, all of those structures that were erected in antique times, and they were sort of like engulfed by the cosmic cataclysms or natural happenings, such as young Dryas comet, because it is said that there was a comet that came to Earth, you understand, and caused the ice to melt, which sort of like rose the water levels, you understand, at the sea levels once more. So most of other structures were sort of like engulfed like that. And then from a sutra, like Suture, there was a traitor, which is the Silver Age. From the Silver Age, there was Bronze Age, the Duapari. From the Duapari, there was the Kali Yuga, you understand, which is the Iron Age, where now like humanity was stripped from taking like recognition, would say, hey, beyond the physicality of matter, there is what we know as spirit. You understand? Everything was just like physical. People used to depend on our five senses, moving about like animals, depending on survival instincts. You understand? They're using only the limbic brain, basically. From the R complex or the base ganglia. That flight or flight or fight kind of a response, you understand, before the development of the thinking capacity, thinking capabilities of the neocortex, you understand. So these are the cycles of life. So when one age or when an eon has to come to pass, you understand, Sekhmet, the universal principle, uses this Sekhmet principle to put one cycle to an end as the beginning of the other, preluding the other cycle, you understand? Because it's all about our cycles, just as how you witness the seasons in the year annually, So even on the personal level, the journey of life from womb to tomb is all about the cycles of growth and evolution, At one point, we need to shade like a snake shedding its own skin, or rather Ouroboros, the snake biting its own tail. It's life without end, but moving in cycles. There are other things, whether habitual patterns, psyche, emotionally, traits, ancestral behavioral patterns, you understand, like things that one gets to meditate upon, things that one gets to think about, and sort of like I feel the inner nakedness, things that we don't like to delve in, things that we don't like to talk about the most, even on the public domain, but things that calls for a solitude, things that calls for, the process of introspection and constant self-reflections, I'm talking about those things, you understand, like the inner weaknesses, the inner fetters, that might have been passed down via the ancestral or generational passages of time, or things that concerns the self, you understand. But I'm talking about the things that one knows very well with him, without coming to a resolution, now coming to solve, now in terms of solving those fetters, those weaknesses and the lower traits, without coming to a resolution, one tends to repeat, the cycles, you understand, without noticing the lesson within the cycles. And so the cycles will keep on repeating themselves until the lesson particularly is essentially peaked. So those are the cycles of life. You understand, from birth to death, you understand. So when one cycle comes into termination, so Sekhmet is this universal principles that plays the major role now in that sort of revolution, or evolution within the wide process of life, life's journey. Yeah, so Sekhmet, Sekhmet is called upon as well. As I said, with she is the eye of God, the one who represents the rage of Ura Ramaseti, the supreme God, So with our battles of life, things that we're grappling with, you understand, and I'm not even talking about physical battles like in that literal sense, you understand, but it could be something that one have been, ever since, been trying to put into shape, you understand, whether it's your goals, whether it's a project that have been laying so dormant, I don't know, maybe by lethargy or laziness, you understand, but given that we just came we phase of the new moon, so it's the height, the energies, the magnetic energies are heightened up, for everyone to start or restart, you understand, on those latent projects that have been laying dormant, that one I've been thinking about. So it is high time right now to use that Sekhmet energy again, you understand, to fight. I wanted to fight, not in a literal sense, you understand, but to fight mentally, as the art of war by Sun Tzu states. So other fights, they need not to be on the physical sense. So Sekhmet is this patronage, that grants us the strength on the battlefield of life, because life is a war between the two extremities. So when both of these extremities have matured up to the brim, understand, like one cycle have to collapse. So Sekhmet is that particular force, I understand, that plays as a catalyst in bringing down one cycle in order to prelude the other one to begin once more. So let us meditate, let us introspect, self-reflect, and delve deep within the inner chamber, within the silence of the inner chamber, you understand, where we get to see the mirror of ourselves, with a naked reflection, and face those weaknesses, and face those fears, and bring about like a new outlook, how we view ourselves. We are gods, we are the goddesses. We are one cycle that have been, putting us down into denigrated states, lower vibratory frequencies, that sort of ill view about our own selves have to be put into termination, you understand. So we can call upon Sekhmet also to fight against the personal self fetters, you understand. As I say to him, there are those moments of self-reflections that really needs one to be in solitude in order to see the mirror, the inner mirror, the occultic mirror within, in order to face those inner fears, whether being passed down by generational or ancestral passages of time, or it could be, whatsoever. So it is about time to fight that, but not on the literal sense. I want to emphasize on that, So let us fight and bring one cycle to an end, and via the ongoing process of the ascension, via the cycles, you understand, we meditate and we introspect, you understand, and we get to find the inner potentiality, the vigor within, because now Sekhmet is the patronage, of that military prowess, by God Ra, and also Sekhmet is the patron of healing. We need to heal those cycles again. Hotep, his father Habu, were initiated in the school of thought of Sekhmet. Sekhmet passed, Sekhmet passed Ra. She's the only goddess portrayed with a scepter of papyrus, which was native at the Upper Egypt, and none other goddess was given the divine authority to hold that scepter except to Sekhmet. Other than that, it was held by Amad, the god, the male god. You understand? So Sekhmet is the healer. Sekhmet is the one who looks over the physicians, who give wisdom to the therapists, who give wisdom to medical practitioners. Sekhmet basically is the jewel force of the God self, of the Godhood. She is the healer, yet she is the destroyer. So she is that aspect that represents the jewel state in everything. With water can quench your thirst, yet water can drown you again. So this divine principle of Sekhmet symbolizes that sense of a polarity, rather a duality within every aspect of a creation in this animated cosmos or quantum realm of time and space. So let us heal via calling and meditating upon this universal principle called Sekhmet. Until you see each other again on the next episode, I would like to thank you very much, and please subscribe, like, share, and comment. Cast your views. You're welcome, in order for the space to grow. So your interaction will mean a lot. You understand? As incentive, even for me to post more videos, and also to navigate through your palette, your mental palette, tell me what more that could be brought on the table that we can dissect again, you understand? So it is a free space. Thank you very much. Peace. Give thanks. Sekhmet, Pastor.